group in Massachusetts, but we didn't, and then tomorrow would have been women's rights, and we didn't do that one either. I'm sorry. They're both important, but I want to make sure we cover the Civil War because we're coming down to our last week. Today, we'll be talking about the causes of the Civil War. And over the years, I've heard a lot of people come up with a lot of causes for the Civil War. But basically, it comes down to slavery. So we're going to start our little picture out today with a slave auction, a mother and daughter being separated, being sold, a woman nursing her child. She's going to be sold too. And as you notice, these folks are not straight off the boat, so to speak. They are off of somebody's plantation. And so the selling of human beings just mystifies me today. I don't know how people could justify it back then. And so here we go. Well, anyway, don't forget we have no Google Meet Friday. All right. So how did we get to the Civil War? Well, we're going to talk about some of the presidents we didn't cover. So the last couple of presidents, we had our friend Zachary Taylor, who ended up, I'm sorry, not Zachary Taylor, William Henry Harrison, who ended up dying 3 months into office. We had John Tyler, who couldn't really get anything done because Congress was against him. And then we had James K. Polk, who fulfilled his promises and got the heck out of office. And so now we come to Zachary Taylor. Now, if you remember, Zachary Taylor was one of the winning generals during the war with Mexico. He did not like slavery. He became president in 1849, didn't like slavery, and he threatened military action on any state that threatened to secede or nullify federal law. And he threatened, let me tell you what he threatened to do. He threatened to hang the very first person who seceded from the Union. And that would have been his son-in-law, Jefferson Davis. Because remember, Jefferson Davis is going to become the president of the Confederacy. So he very vocally told his son-in-law he would hang him personally if he left the Union. So it's strange that this guy had been a slave owner, but, hated slavery so badly. By the way, Baton Rouge claims him as their resident, but he lived quite a few places. It was just that he was stationed in Baton Rouge for a while. So what happened to good old Zachary Taylor? Maybe he should have been in office a while. Well, one day he is watching the July 4th parade, and it's an extremely hot day. So he drinks a very cold glass of water. When I was growing up, I was told that it was a very cold glass of buttermilk. And then he ate some persimmons, is what I was told when I was a kid. When I researched it, it was cherries and various fruits. So I'm sure persimmons were in there somewhere. And he had a stroke and died. Well, you know, a southerner in slavery, I'm going to hang you if you leave the Union. Sounds like this is a guy for a candidate for poisoning. So for years and years and years, I mean, we're talking 100 years, we thought that Zachary Taylor had been poisoned. So finally, one of his relatives, or a group of his relatives, finally come up and they're talked into letting us exhume his body. So historians exhumed his body and tested it for arsenic. Because if you're ever poisoned, boys and girls, it's always going to show in your bones. So if you get poisoned 100 years from now, we can dig you up and see if you were poisoned or not. Dug him up. That was just, I think, about 4 or 5 years ago. They dug him up, and sure enough, he had not been poisoned. Okay, he had not been poisoned. He actually had a stroke. So anyway, the next president, his vice president, was Millard Fillmore. Now, Fillmore was from New York, and his reputation was, I'm a deal maker. I'm a deal maker, buddy. I make deals. So that's exactly what he did. He made deals to keep the South in the Union, and but his deal making kept slavery going on. Okay. The next president after him is Franklin Pierce. Franklin Pierce was a raging alcoholic, and it's well documented. I don't think I'll be sued by Franklin Pierce's relatives. He was a raging alcoholic. He finally takes the cure. He doesn't drink alcohol anymore. His wife is so happy, and she wants him to have a stress-free life because that's what caused him to be an alcoholic. And they talk him into running for president. So he actually keeps the idea that he's running for president away from his wife. So she actually doesn't realize that he's running for president to almost the election. And you could do that in those days because you could easily, just be nominated by a convention. Some women were not involved in politics, could care less. Yeah, yeah, it could happen. Well, anyway, on the train ride to Washington, the train wrecks. He lives, his wife lives, but his young son dies. His wife goes in the mourning. Everything in the White House, all the curtains, all the drapes, all the furniture was black. She wore black the 4 years they were president. And I think he started drinking again. There's no evidence of that. But he had what were called teacup pups. These were small puppies that you could put in your pocket. And he would walk around talking to them. So, yeah. But Congress loved it, right? Because they can do whatever they want. The president's going to sign it. The next president was Millard Fillmore. That's the gentleman we see right there. Not Millard Fillmore, sorry. James Buchanan. That's the gentleman we see right there. Mr. Buchanan just prays on his knees every day. There's a chapel in the White House that prays on his knees every day that the Civil War does not start during his administration. And although it's credited to Lincoln, it did start during James Buchanan's administration. So, election of 1860 is coming up. It's a really important election, and it's Stephen Douglas against Abraham Lincoln. Now, Douglas was the guy that came up with the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which basically said, look, if your states want slavery, it can have slavery. And when Kansas-Nebraska Act came up, people waited on the border to run into Kansas, to run into Nebraska. In fact, Kansas was called Bloody Kansas, so that pro-slavery or anti-slavery factions could establish a majority. So it was a very bad situation. Stephen Douglas did a poor job on that, but he always thought it was great. Okay, so there you have it. He thought he did a great job. So some people always, there's always somebody that thinks they did a great job, right? Okay, so Douglas decides to run for president, and he gets on a train, and he tours the country. And everywhere that the train stops, he goes to the back. They have these little banner things set up. Everywhere that the train stops, he gives a speech. Now, Douglas was the guy to see if you wanted to see a speech. Just like we go see comedians today or rock and roll groups. People came to see Douglas give a speech because, man, his face got blood red and his voice would crescendo and go low and all this. It was as much performance as it was a speech. Then at the end of his speech, this very tall, gangly-looking gentleman would step up on the platform and give his speech. And that gentleman was Abraham Lincoln. What Abraham Lincoln had done, remember, Douglas has his own car, right? Train. Lincoln would just buy a ticket on the train, and everywhere that it stopped, he would get up and give his side. Okay, could barely hear him. He had a squeaky voice. Not somebody you would pay money to see him give a speech. But his speeches were incredibly sensible. Okay, they just like hit home. So Eventually, Douglas said, this is ridiculous. You're buying a train ticket, blah, blah, blah. You know, just come and sit up here. And so that's the picture we see there. Okay? So Lincoln won the election because there's like 12 guys running for president. And as soon as he wins the election, South Carolina seceded from the Union. So why did they secede? And eventually 12 others do secede. Or was it 10? And the answer is plain and simple: slavery. Okay? So it's not about tariffs. It's not about states' rights. It's not about nullification. It's simply about slavery. Why do they secede? Okay? Their life is so based on slavery. They can't see slavery not being part of it. Let me tell you, I'm going to say something pretty controversial here. After the Civil War's over and slavery's ended, a lot of African Americans are in the same boat that stay in the South. They're picking cotton, they're tenant farmers, they're being abused, they're not allowed to go here, they're not allowed to use the same places that whites do. In fact, in some cases, it's even worse than before when they were slaves. Okay? And yet, I have done personal interviews with people whose grandmother or grandfather were around during slavery, and they talk about slavery like, oh, it was great. I can't imagine that. I just can't imagine that. How could you not be a free person? You know, people are going crazy in their houses right now with this virus stuff. How could you not be a free person? How could you have somebody tell you, oh, you won't cook my dinner? It's unreal to me. So, yes, it was slavery. So let's just get that out on the table because you're going to hear all these different excuses later on in life. It was slavery. Okay? You good? All right. So our question for today was, and it's an opinion question. Do you really think it took a civil war to end slavery? And what I mean by that, Sam Houston always said that slavery would have died out without a civil war, and I think he was absolutely wrong. But do you think it took a civil war, to end slavery? Okay, well, have a great day.